out of left field. It's time to get real with all the juicy hot topics that bring appeal. Like who's a Hall of Famer and who's the best team. Number one up on the power ranking, that's a prestige. Man, the outfield is mine, I'm calling left center. My name is Daniac, a name that you should all remember. Yoni, who you bringing on? Who's the guest spot? They better be bringing the A game. Come on, let's talk.
Yeah.
Boys, welcome Shiv, welcome Fogel, episode 6. This thing is happening. We spoke about doing a podcast about 6.5 weeks ago. Did any of you guys think that this podcast would actually take off and be something consistent?
I mean, I thought it'd be decent, but I didn't realize it'd be the talk of the town. So it's definitely bigger than I thought it was going to be. But now we got to get back to your 300 views a week.
Yeah, well, listen, we're getting minimum 200, which is good, seeing it's a 96-person league. But some get 3, some get 2, but at least the goal is to stay above 200 views. Shiv, did you think this podcast was going to work?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I love it. Shiv's always so positive.
Yeah.
60% of the time.
60% of the time.
No, I'm joking. You're good. Before we start, and I read the mystery guest hints, I meant to do this last week, and it completely slipped my mind that I feel bad about it. I'd like to dedicate this episode 6 of the podcast to the memory of Bruce Tackefman's father. We have you in our hearts, and we send out our condolences. And I guess I'm representing the league when I say our hearts are sent out to you and your family, and we wish you condolences, and may his memory be a blessing to you, Bruce, and to everybody that knew him. So I just wanted to send that out there.
Yeah, Bruce, a true mention. To mention that, Yoni.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. Bruce is a staple in our league. One of the, if not the nicest guy in the league. You could always talk to him. He always has a smile on his face, and it pains me to see someone in pain and to see someone hurting. So I really do send out my love to Bruce, and I'm sure the entire league, 100% of the league, agrees with my sentiments.
For sure.
Shiv and Fogel, I'd like for you guys to do a rock, paper, scissors quickly to see who's going to have first guest on Mystery Guest. So whenever you guys are ready, you guys can go for it.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, hold on.
We'll start again.
Whoa. Okay,
Yep.
ready? Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay, Fogel, you're going to get first guess. It sucks that Fogel's going to get first guess because, Shiv, I really dumbed down the mystery guest poem for you this time so you can get it.
If you want, Shiv could guess.
Yeah, I know.
I'll throw it to Shiv if you want.
Shiv, you want it?
Yes, I'll take it. I have no pride on this.
Okay, do you guarantee this one?
Yeah.
I
I was thrown off last week. I got bad information.
Can you explain why you were thrown off? Explain why you were thrown off.
I had been with Fogel earlier having a little exec morning mercanti coffee with Fogel, Lino, and Plotkin, and he mentioned that Maislin would be on the podcast. So the entire time you were reading it, I'm like, this really doesn't sound like Ryan Maislin. And sure enough, it wasn't.
But he was on the pod just later.
He was on the podcast later. So Mitch was writing away, but he was not the mystery guest.
All right, I'm focused. Let's go.
Here we go. Who the mystery guest is, I can't tell you. My lips are sealed. What I can tell you is he plays the corners of the infield. Some of the teams he's played on over the years include Little Bear, Michael White Realties, and Last Chance U. Over the years, he has started to slow up, but one thing you'll always know is he'll never not show up. He's a leader out on the field in actuality, plays every inning with the LFG mentality. He hits a career average of 402 on the sticks. So who is my mystery guest for episode number 6?
Oh, wow. Epstein.
Is that your final answer for both of you?
That's certainly my final answer, yeah.
Mystery guest, can you reveal yourself?
Oh, I like it.
How is it so easy this week?
I like
the
it.
LFG mentality, come on.
I didn't show up or like
show up. I thought show up was also a big
yeah.
clue.
Yeah, like it's like
I was just talking to this guy in 2 minutes. I said I got to go for the podcast. He's like, okay, have fun.
Really cool. For the podcast.
Yeah,
I like it. I had no idea either.
I definitely gave you an alley-oop for that one, Shiv.
You did. Appreciate that.
If not,
I'm back now. I'm back.
I will say this before we start. I'm a little concerned about Mitch Fogel's lack of sunscreen on his forehead.
I knew.
It is
So-
I
concerning.
knew I was on the pod. I had to look my best for the viewers.
No. Great, but I want you to put a little sunscreen there where, you know, it's dangerous, the sun, and I want you to be a little more careful, please.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Epper,
Okay.
Epper, welcome to the podcast. Your first time on.
Hey,
How's
What
it
an honor.
going?
good. I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm sad I didn't get to play yesterday, but hopefully we'll play tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's
Kujawski
okay.
probably
Mitch
would play.
Mitch Kujawski finally showed up to a game yesterday.
That's nice. I don't. You let me know what's that like. I have no idea.
I don't know. He showed up on time. That was the first time I saw him on time to a game that he didn't have.
Wow, this is okay. This is foreign. This is foreign. But I'll take your word for it.
Epstein, before we start, tell me what you think about the league this year.
I love this league. Like I'll tell you, it's every year I'm impressed. One thing I love about this league, and I say to everybody, is that somehow we built a culture that builds a league, right? So you see people, you know, always there. The attendance is good. People stick around afterwards. And I remember, you know, I played youth, I played captains, I played NBBSL. The demise of those leagues were that culture was dying, whether it was too competitive, you know, people were bringing their own teams. Because this is a draft league, I see it year after year, the intensity. I mean, there's some over the top rivalries, but I guess that's healthy at times. But overall, I have to say that this league's as strong as it's been. The camaraderie's there, the culture, the buy-in, and has all the makings of a great future with the new young guys that come in. So I give it an 8 on 10. There's no problem.
Do you think that the parity in the league is what keeps this league afloat? Because if teams were too competitive and killing other teams and there was no parity, would it fold like the others did?
100%. That's what ends up happening, right? Because teams end up like merging together. Remember, if we use NBBSL, Transco was winning. Like I was on Transco for many years. We were winning, and then you see like teams like the Pirates and the Balkan Miners merging, and then you saw that in youth with like the Spartans, which were the Titans, and like some of the Mo Shots merging, and then Dynasty. Like that's how teams stay competitive. Here, there's no cheat codes. Everyone has a 1. Everyone has a 12. Everyone has garbage in between, and somehow 12 on 12 is the ultimate equalizer. During the regular season, on the other hand, we have some interesting games. Like if you play Shiv during the regular season, he usually leaves his 10 and 12 at home and brings you his best up to, and then
he brings the top guys from Hampstead to come in as 5s and 6s.
Feel good. Like he tells me a guy's pounds is a lean 240, but hey, you know, these are just like slight misunderstandings that all get settled in August.
Shiv, I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance to. I saw you made a face. So I'll give you a chance to fix.
I have a better turnout this year than I've had in years past. That's for sure. I had some. I had some guys I enjoyed playing with in the past that maybe had other commitments that didn't make them. Let's call them regular appearances at the park. So I think this year's been a little better for me for turnout. Obviously, having the Benzers travel put me without a 10 and a 4 for a little bit, but I won't get into the sub comments. I bring out guys from outside the league to try to help grow the league.
We're busting your chops.
I know.
Shiv, we're just busting your chops. But my question is,
know.
what is the process if you want to bring someone who's never played in the league to sub for you? What is the process to getting him to sub?
Well, there's like a tiering committee, similar to the discipline committee, but not as strict. Yeah, basically we talk about it. Usually there's 1 or 2 guys that have seen this person play. We try to be fair, but sometimes we will, err on the side of like, hey, let's make this guy a 4. If he ends up being a 3, we'll adjust, but let's get him out there, get him playing, see if he likes it. Maybe he signs up next year. So,
I guess it's regular
I guess
season.
Andrew Fink is one of those guys who came out to sub for me, and I don't think he'll be returning anytime soon.
Now, is it the same in the playoffs? Can you bring anyone?
No. They need to be on like the actual sub list, the league site sub list before the playoffs start to be eligible.
So I guess regular season is the time you do your little guessing test.
For sure.
You
Yeah,
test
definitely tightens up in the playoffs.
For sure.
Gonna go over.
Fogel is on that subcommittee or tiering committee, I should say. So
Are you?
if you have issues, contact Mitch Fogel.
Fogel, what was your say on Fink for Lior?
Well, Fink, I only found out about 30 minutes before the game. So, I mean, at the end of the day, look, Fink, in my opinion, is better than Lehrer. Didn't make the difference, and I do like bringing guys out to grow the league. So, it wasn't like we were comparing a 2 to a 7. Then I'd have more of an issue. Like
Shiv's,
2 to a 3. Like I was more busting Shiv's chops because I got heated in the game, but I didn't really mind it.
to Shiv's defense, Lior is batting second in the league in terms of average.
And now tiered as a 2. So I'm allowed to use Fink for him tomorrow.
Okay.
Now it's now authorized.
Now it's okay.
No.
Last
Are
week,
you
no.
using
This
Fink
week,
for
no.
him tomorrow?
No, Lior's playing,
Lior's
which is what I want.
perfect. I want to go over a few games that happened this week. There weren't many. There were 6 games this week. I'd like to go over some of them. If you were at the game, let me know. Tell me what you think about the game. If you weren't at the game, we could check up some stats and see what happened. The first one I want to talk about is Côte St. Luc Bagel Bus and the Mother Truckers, 18-5. Now this was very close to a mercy. It wasn't close from the beginning. Were any of you there?
I was umping.
You were umping with me. It wasn't a very close game. Buckman didn't do much. I think he popped out a couple times. Batting second. Like we've always said, they need to score. They can't let teams score a lot of runs. And if you're scoring 18 runs, you have zero chance. I mean,
Bagel just seemed a bit dead from the get-go. There was really no life, no fire. Kind of felt like they were just showing up to show up type thing. I think they got down early, so that was tough. But it seemed like there was just a bit of a lack of belief once they got down. And that's sort of how I saw the game.
But
the
you know what?
I
feel like they finished strong. They finished strong because if I remember correctly, Hirsch was clapping on good effort at the end. So I mean,
and the Truckers were solid. Like at one point, even Seller looked at me and he goes, "How's this team going to lose in the playoffs?" Like because they didn't even have Caddy there that game. They had Elliott pitching, and Joel was telling me like, "Who's going to beat this team?" So I said, "Yeah, they're a good team." But yeah, that was sort of the game.
Sitting in 5th place and they're a good team, that tells you something about the league.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like JB Consulting's in first right now. If they lost in the first round, no one would be surprised. Not because of JB Consulting. It's just the way the league is, right? So, like Epstein said, like that's the beauty of the league. It's the parity. First could lose, and no one would be totally shocked. They'd be okay, a little bit surprised, but that's what makes the league.
I joined this league 7 years ago, I think now.
This is your 7th year, correct? I know that because when I was writing my rhymes, I had to check everything up.
Yeah, I can't remember a successful 1 seed. Like I've been to 5 finals. I've won one. The 1 year I was a 1 seed, I lost in the semis. Like I think the 1 seed is like the death, the kiss of death or whatever.
They call it the curse of first, right?
Exactly.
And it's usually JB Consulting. Well, it's usually the Aaron Gilbert team that's finishing in first.
Exactly. And what's beauty of it is that what I like about that is that the 8th seed, because remember, if we go back to the other leagues, if you were an 8th seed or a 12th seed or whatever the seeds were, you had zero chance. Like you would show up just for the sake of showing up because it'd be rude, but you'd have no chance to win. Where here, like you're an 8th seed, it doesn't matter. Just go show up and play, hope for the best. 12 on 12 is the ultimate equalizer. Like it really just is. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes are end up going to win.
Shiv, FDI Bears had 2 close games this week. We're going to talk about the first game, the 14-11 loss to JB Consulting. What went on that game?
Just kind of a sloppy game. I think both sides a little bit. Bobot got hurt on the first play of the game for them. Darren happened to be lurking in the park, and they were able to pull him in to replace Bobot, which I think really helped. He played great, made a couple of great catches in the outfield. Yeah, we didn't really play well, and somehow we were still in the game. So I don't look at that as a bad sign. Like I don't think we're capable of playing much worse than we played on that day, and we lost by 3 runs to the first place team. So
Bobot's been ailing for the last few weeks. Like every the first inning or second inning of every game, he pulls up with a hammy issue. Do you think he's going to take time off now, or is he going to keep on trying to push it?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to.
By 46 years old, or however old he is, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he might be a touch older than that. But I had a similar hamstring, like that high up hamstring injury where you can sit for a week, you think you feel fine. If you're light jogging, you feel fine. But the moment you try to like any kind of burst in either direction, you just feel it right away. And I think that's what he's dealing with right now. So, hopefully for him, it heals quick, but I wouldn't be surprised if, he doesn't step on the field for another 2 weeks or so. So
Yeah, he should
hopefully he
probably
gets better.
take a little
You
time.
have to.
Let
It's
that
not
heal
going to get
because
better
it
otherwise.
never hammy is so tricky. It doesn't heal, and one bad
Yeah.
move, it's right back. You're right back at
Yeah.
it. So
One thing in that game too is I got the death stare from Tony Ricci.
why is that?
So, well, there was a play at second base. I was running to second base, and I was sure I was going to be out. The throw kind of took Tony off the base, and I overran second base. And then when I tried to get back, like he turned to tag, and I was trying to do like, I don't know, I guess like a swim move because I thought he was going to swing his glove, but he didn't. He just kind of held his glove out there just to touch me, and my hand like slapped down on his glove like a bit of an A-Rod, and he didn't care for that, understandably. So I wouldn't have liked it either. So I had to apologize to Tony post game.
Yeah, but also to Tony's defense, he does have a moth lodged in his brain.
Yeah, but this one was on me, not him. The moth
Okay.
made him calm. He just tried to tag me lightly, and I'm the one who
The moth
made
comes
the bad play. Yeah.
Epper,
Yeah.
talk to me about the PSB Flint Tropic game. Your only game of the week.
How much? We run into the same problem we have the last few weeks, is that we give up like 4 in the first, and then we have to like claw back all the time, and it's just like, we were very quiet that game, and we were called out like, why are you guys so quiet? Why are you guys so quiet? I'm coming from the belief of that you can't just yell for the sake of yelling. You got to do something to get excited, and we did absolutely nothing. I would give that game a D minus for the Flint Tropics. And a well-deserved D minus. We didn't get an F because we didn't get shut out, but that was the only thing that happened. But Mitch was at that game. He played against us. Like literally nothing good happened. And in the same time, we got very unlucky. Like in the first, we gave up 4 runs. Like Bloop single turned into a double. I think Fogel hit an infield single off the tip of his bat that dribbled down the line. Like we also had some bad ball luck, and we just couldn't overcome it. And it was just. It was not one of our finer moments, but like I remind our guys, this doesn't matter now. It only matters in August. And we have to remember these moments when we come into when it counts. Because if we show up like that, we might as well pack our bags and go home. That was our worst game of the year, in my opinion, in terms of like spirit, in terms of like effort level. And not because nobody tried, just like literally nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, you're ever
No,
worried about
personally, I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel we hit better off Primo than off Joel than when Joel was pitching. It was a different type of pitching. Maybe it was because of the change of pace when one is pitching than the other. But if I'm not mistaken, you guys like to go 5 and 4 with them, right?
No, we go 7 and 2 minimum, sometimes 6 and 3. But we have, based on our defense, the way it goes, like in the playoffs, I could go 5 and 4 if I want to.
Okay, so that's what I heard. Probably it was playoffs that I was hearing.
Yeah, so I haven't done 5 and 4 yet, but I have that logic. I will say this: I don't think Primo really gave up that many hard hits. I don't think. I think Joel pitched well. I think they both pitched well. That's not the issue. I think our defense was very average, and we got some bad luck where the balls bounced. But doesn't matter. We scored 4 runs. Like we weren't going to beat this team 4-3. That's not really a recipe for success. We're not. This isn't youth res dogs versus chaos. We're going to have to score 10 runs. So until we learn how to score 10 runs regularly, move runners along. We had the bases loaded twice where we didn't score. We have to stop doing those things. We're our own worst enemy right now.
Okay. Was anyone at the Timmy Zerzer, Mario and Feast game?
I umped that game.
It was a 7-5 game. Was it as close as the score shows?
Yeah, I think it was actually 0-0 into the 5th. Game was just moving along, and a lot of kind of mediocre swings and good pitching on both sides. And then I think that Zerzer team scored all 7 of their runs in 1 inning. So they had just one big inning that was, there was obviously some good hits, but there was a couple of misplays that were really costly. And yeah, they scored 7 runs in 1 inning, and it was enough to hold on for the win.
That seems to be the theme for Team Zerzer lately, is that they have one big inning where they're scoring runs. Like, we're going to move on to yesterday's game. The score was 7-3. They beat PSB 7-3. Now, it was 2-0 going into the 6th inning. They had one big inning where they scored 4 or 5 runs, and that was it. Is that a recipe for success?
Well, it was Hassan who broke the shutout because he said we're gonna get shutouts. So
yeah, he said the word shutout in the 6th inning. He's like shutout. So
and that inning they scored the 4 runs. So I mean, they're a good team. Like they were at the bottom for a while, and I think we mentioned on the first or second pod, like they're not at the bottom. I think we all agree. I mean, they're a good hitting team. They were rolling 10 yesterday also. Like Epstein said, everything changes in the playoffs, but overall they're a good team. It's a
big change when you're playing 10 on 12. When you're playing with 12 against a team with 10, it changes up a lot. But I just wanted to put out there, in the last 4 games, Team Zerzer has scored 7, 7, and 5. Okay. They won the 2 games with 7. They won 7-3, 7-5, and they lost a game 7-5 or something like that. That's not a lot of scoring, but they're winning. So my question is it the D that stepped up, or is the pitching come around? Because at the beginning, the pitching was an issue.
Well,
I think you things are going to balance stuff out. It's baseball, softball, everything balances out. Gal's too good to get smashed all the time, that's for sure. So I'm going to say that turned around. I'm sure their D is a little bit, but one thing when you have an elite pitcher in this league, and having, I played with Steve White many years, when you have an elite pitcher, you get a lot of easy outs. And what happens is like, you give up a single, and then your pitcher's going to give you a chopper of a ground ball, force out. Like, that's how they're going to get out of their innings. I will say this: 7-7-5 isn't a recipe for success. Coming from my experience, I think 10 is always the magic number to give yourself a chance to win every game. So if they can get that 7 to 10, then I think they'd be a very dangerous team. But like Fogel said yesterday, he faced them, they're a 10-man lineup. That means minimum every 3 innings, you're facing Gal and Hassan. That makes the game just a lot harder.
I'm going to give a little credit to Gal. Yesterday, he did get PSB to pop up to the infield maybe 10 times. And
that helps.
I'm not even exaggerating.
Goes back to what I say. Once you get induced easy outs because you have an elite pitcher, I mean, you've now dumbed down your weaknesses in your infield or your outfield, right? Everyone's going to have some good fielders and bad fielders. That's the beauty of this league. But even the bad fielders can make easy outs. It's the hard hit balls that they struggle with. And if the pitcher's not going to induce many hard hit balls, you're going to have success. I'd say it's guaranteed.
Now,
and I think he was getting hit hard. I think he was getting hit hard early, and I think he changed his pitching. He's pitching with a bit more speed, but he's towing the line, not speed over the line, but just a bit more. So
I find he's got a lot of movement on his ball. His ball does curve from right to left, which is very off-putting for the batter, because the batter thinks it's coming in inside, and it squeaks its way over the corner of the plate. So I mean, he's definitely got a little bit of I don't know what you call on that, but
it's a dip. It's almost like a slider, an underhand slider. I know exactly. He got me out last game on that one.
Big assist to the home plate ump, by the way, Yoni, yesterday for the PSP game too. Just wanted to call that out.
Listen, we can't always blame umps for everything. They do their best. They try. Except for yesterday, the umps listen. The umps are listen. I know for a fact the umps are not going to call something that didn't happen, or that they thought didn't happen. They're going to call what they thought happened. Now, I'm going to be the first one to tell you that not all the things the ump sees is necessarily 100%, but the ump has to make the call that he sees. He can't make a call that he didn't see. So while I was upset a whole bunch yesterday, I can't really blame the umpires too much. It's just frustration more than anything. Because I know that the umpires are not making up calls. They're calling things, whether it's right or it's wrong, because the umpires are going to be wrong a whole bunch. But whether it's right or it's wrong, they got to call what they see. And if that's what they saw, that's what it is. It is what it is. So my apologies if I insulted anybody or
I'll let the umpire know. Yeah.
Please let the umpire know, or got upset. I understand it's not an easy job to ref basketball, to ref soccer, to anything, to ref hockey, or to softball. It's not easy because no matter what happens, there's always going to be two opinions on the fact. And the truth in the matter is the one holding the power is the umpire, and the umpire is going to call it the way he sees it. I don't think there's very many umps that I've seen that are just going to make a call up just for the hell of it. So it is what it is. I don't have to agree with it, but I have to accept it and I have to move on.
As the only non-ump on this call, I will say it's a very hard job because you guys are two. I mean, you look at Major League Baseball, they're four and they use replay just in case. So, there's going to be people who are going to disagree, especially the ones who are in the third base dugout on a first base call that they think they see clearly when the ump was right there. But such is life. One thing I did learn over all the years in sports, if it's the ump's fault you lost, you didn't do enough of the game to take it out of their hands.
Well, that's right. And I just want to move on now, just quickly, because we have a few things to get through. FDI Bears. I'm going to talk about the FDI Bears for a second. Now, this is a team that when it comes to a one-run game, they seem to be coming out on top. Now, what is it about FDI Bears where they're able to win in walk-off style on more than 1, 2, 3 occasions? How many walk-offs this year so far?
I think 4.
4 walk-offs. That's 4 out of 14 games are walk-offs. That's
13, to be honest.
13. So it takes some sort of, it's not luck at a certain point when you're winning walk-off games consistently. What are you, 4-0 on walk-offs? Have you been walked off? 4-0?
No, we lost a close game to Epstein's team, but other than that,
that was a 5-3 game. I don't think that was a walk-off.
Yeah, it wasn't a walk-off. No, it was a 5-3 game.
So you're a close team. Your games are all close, but you end up coming out on top. What is it that's
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had a few mercies tucked in there too, but yeah, we seem to be doing really well in close games. I don't know. I like to think that it's guys want to win. So those close moments bring out the best in us. I think every time we've been in a tie game going into our last at bat, we get that leadoff guy on. The team has a ton of speed. You have Jordan Benz around the bases, like just wreaking havoc. Like it's tough. And then, you have guys coming up, with Jordan on first, you have, I guess, the heart of your lineup, you have me, you have Lior, you have Shane, and then Logan, it's Lozoff if he's there. It's tough. A lot of guys that can use all the field and they can move a guy first to third really easy. So we've had success in those close games.
How much of it would you say is strategy to just luck?
No, I mean, I don't think there's any specific strategy other than, get on base. Like Jordan came up in the last inning and he said he saw where Harrison was playing him at third base. And he said, look, if I get an outside pitch, I'm going to try to take it there. I feel like where he's playing, if I hit a ground ball, he's going to have a really hard time throwing me out. He ended up putting it over his head. He dropped it into left field. And then once he gets on base, it's just a problem because, one hit at that point can basically end the game. Like he's that quick. So.
Okay. PSB were undefeated for the first 7 games of the season. PSB right now, I think 7-6-1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's a big fall. What's going on with PSB? Is it something that can be fixed? Did they get lucky in the beginning of the season, or is this just a slump and it's going to turn around?
I mean, we stopped hitting. I think maybe 2-3 weeks ago, we were probably the second team for a run 4 average. And now we're the third to last or fourth to last. So, and our defense is the first. So we just really stopped hitting. I really think hitting's contagious. We'll get back there. I actually thought after the draft, I liked our batting lineup more than our defense. And it seems like our defense is the thing that's been sort of bringing us along. So, I think we'll get back to it. It's contagious, but it's really, we just stopped hitting. Like it's mostly, it's more the top guys that haven't been hitting than the bottom, myself included, if I include myself in the top, but it's contagious. I think we'll get it back. It's just, I need a couple games to get your confidence hitting, and then I think we'll be fine.
Okay, I'm going to move on. 3 players here from 3 different teams. I'm going to ask you a question. I want your answer, okay? You're finishing in first place in regular season. Who are you choosing to play? We'll start with Shit. And why?
Oof. Can I say the 8th place team? And because I don't want to poke the bear?
You could. You are the bear.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think and I mean this honestly, I think I would just take whoever was in last place. And the last 2 years when we've implemented this rule, that strategy, I think actually last year Elan's team did end up beating the team in 5 games. I know year one, everybody chose the team with Kadnoff and Ackerflug, and they ended up winning the whole thing. I don't know. I think you can motivate a team for no reason. So unless for whatever reason, a team that I really don't want to play is sitting in 8th place, like the Truckers or, Gal's team, who I just wouldn't want to play in the first round in a series just because it's going to be annoying. I think I just take who's in 8th.
Do you guys agree, or do you have different? Is there a team? Epper, is there a team that you prefer to play just because you match up well against them?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like the Bears. You guys and the Bears match up well. I think it's close games whenever you guys play.
Because they're really fast, so like it goes back to why he wins walk-offs. He has a strategic runner. You can use Shane or Jordan in a tie game. Like the most annoying thing in the world is first to third. Next thing you know, they're home. So like, no, I wouldn't want to face them. But like we match up well against a heavy righty team. So to me, that sticks out as a Zerzer and sticks out as Bagel Bus. So it's nothing to do with their roster. Just we like facing righties, so they funnel the ball to that side of our outfield and all that. So that's probably the direction I would go. The good news is there's zero chance that I'm going to have that choice this year. So it doesn't matter what I think. For all I know, maybe they'll choose me. Like the year we finished 8th, nobody chose us, and we played the 7th seed, and everyone thought that was a joke, but everyone avoided us the whole way, and we ended up losing in the finals in Game 5. So I think it's a fun twist, though. I'll tell you that much.
Fogel, you agree with what they say?
Yeah, well, 2 years ago, I was on the first place team, and I think I was with Elan. I think we spoke maybe 50 hours on who to pick. And I really did not like that rule. And then we ended up picking Kadanoff's team, who I don't know, finished 6th or 7th. And we all know what happened there. Shiv mentioned it. Last year, I said, if I finish first, I'm just picking 8th the whole year because I don't want to have those discussions. I don't want to poke the bear. So I'm totally on the same page as Shiv. So the same thing this year. If we were to finish first, I would just go with 8. Like if you can't beat the 8th place team in the season, like you're not going to win it all anyways.
I agree with you, Mitch, except the 8th place team in the season is not necessarily really the 8th place team in the season. Again, because you know how teams showed up against them, you know who was missing. To me, that like one thing I don't believe in is poking the bear. Like if you can't get up for a playoff game and you only reason you got up is someone picked you, then I don't know where your motivation to compete is to begin with. But maybe I'm in the minority of opinion here.
Okay, so believe it or not, this podcast has been rolling, and it's we're already 33 minutes in, so it's going quick. It doesn't feel like it, but it is going quick. There's a few things I want to get through. Some stuff I'll save for next week. If the playoffs started today, these are the matchups. I want you to tell me what's going to happen very quickly, very briefly, what you think is going to happen in that series. JB versus Coach St. Luke Bagel. Shiv.
JB, I think, would win that series. I don't know. I think I still don't know what'll happen with Buckman in the playoffs. So for now, I take JB in 4.
I think that's the worst matchup for Bagel. They need a team that doesn't hit as well. Like I think that's probably their worst matchup.
I would agree with that.
You agree, Epper?
Yeah, I do. I think JB's just a tough lineup. It's exhausting. It's lefty. Play a T3. It's exhausting. It's annoying.
Bears versus Tropics. Let Fogel start with this one.
I mean, I've been a fan of the Bears since podcast 1. I have them power ranking 2. So I mean, I think the Bears will win that in 4.
Ezerzer versus Mario and Feast. That's a good one. They played this week, right? Yes. They played this week, and Ezerzer won 7-5.
I think that's actually a good matchup. I've never been the biggest Mario and Feast fan, as this podcast would say. I think that's actually a good matchup for Mario and Feast. They have a good hitting lineup. It's 2 good pitchers, and as you said, Zerzer's only scoring 7 runs. I think that's probably a good matchup for Mario and Feast. I could potentially see an upset there. I think I'd probably take a Zerzer in 5 if you ask me, but I wouldn't be shocked if that's. I think that's a good matchup for Mario.
This is Gal's first playoff win right here. Playoff series win. I'm going with Gal. Gal. All that lack of success all those years, the early exit, Gal's never played an exec game in September. This is the he's never made it to September. This is his year. I'm telling you,
He's subbed. He's subbed.
he's up, but that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Shiv, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Azurzer. I don't know. I think Azurzer is actually a pretty good team. I don't really know much about Mario and Feast. They probably average 4.5 subs per game. So let's see what
That's
happens.
actually in the over-unders, by the way.
Yeah.
That's in the
So
over-unders.
I don't know what they are as 12 and they're 12 if it is their 12. So it's hard for me to really predict, but I'll take Azurzer in 4 would be my guess.
And what I feel is going to be the matchup of the first round, PSB against Mother Truckers. Now, that's a tough one.
We beat the Truckers twice. I'll let Epstein and Shiv. I
I'll
think they'll
just
probably choose Truckers, but
until someone beats Caddy, I'm gonna bet on Caddy. Like last 2 years, he's won. He's taking a team that everyone thought was bad 2 years ago because, like Mitch contested, they took that team, and I wouldn't blame them. That's who I would have picked also. And then and they ended up winning, and I feel the same way about this year. I mean, look, if Caddy seems to be such a difference maker in the playoffs, and that lineup is just rolling. That's from what I see. And they have what a great pick that Kliger is. I mean, this guy's probably the most underrated player in this league right now. I mean, he sucked for me the other day, smashing balls the other way.
I think after this podcast, he's no longer considered underrated. I'm just
no. Pump him up. The guy's a legit starting center fielder, a middle of the lineup guy. Guy's a beauty on the field. Beauty.
Awesome. Listen, I wanted to talk about the skills competition a little bit. That will hopefully happen. There was a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to go through. I don't have the time to do it this week. We'll save it for next week. So to just close it out, because we have about 2.5 minutes, I'm going to tell you the games that are coming up. I'm going to tell you they're over under. You're going to tell me who you think is going to win, and is it over or under that line? Okay, we're going to go quickly. So just a quick answer from each of you. First game is Coats and Luke Bagel Mario Feast on T2, 17.5.
Under.
You're gonna win. Give me your winner, and
Bagel Bus under.
I'm with shit. Bagel Bus under. I locked in on Bet365 already.
I'll go Mario Feast.
And under? Everyone's taking the under 17.5. Flint Tropic PSB 16.5 on T3.
PSB over.
That's what I would have said. I mean,
I'm not going to go against my team, Flint Tropic.
Of course you're not. I don't think anyone in the history of this podcast has ever gone against their team.
You know what? Maybe I'm going to reverse it. You know what? I'm going PSB in the over.
Wow.
Reverse logic. I'm going to reverse logic.
All right.
Not bad.
Team Zerzer, FDI Bears, T2, 14.5.
could be the game of the week there. I don't know what the other games.
I'm saying
Bears
14.5 because they're not giving up a lot of runs, Zerzer.
I said
Bears
Bears
over.
Walk off.
Bears over?
Yeah.
Ember, what'd you say?
I said 7-6 walk off is Zerzer.
So you're taking the under.
It's no medicine.
He's taking the under. All right. Mitch, you got the under?
I said Bears over.
Where Bears over. Okay. JB Consulting Mother Truckers. We don't have a lot of time. Let's try to get through this quickly. 21.5.
I'm saying Truckers, and I'm going to go under. Truckers under.
Truckers under.
I'm going to go JB Consulting over. I'm going to say about 26 run score, 27.
Tropics. Do we do Tropics FDI Bears? Tropics
No.
FDI Bears, 18.5.
Bears under.
Bears under.
Tropics. We're hitting on Thursday.
Ezerzer, Mario and Feast, 17.5 on T3.
Zers are under.
I'm going Mario over. I feel Mario versus Zerzer, like I said before, is a good matchup for them.
Okay, guys, we just got a couple seconds left. Quickly, PSB, Mother Truckers, 20.5. We don't have
Truckers
much time.
over.
We're going to get cut off. What?
Mother Trucker over.
Mother Truckers over. You
Yeah,
guys
I'm with
agree
that.
PSB under.
JB Consulting, CSL Bagel, 25.5.